5 lights and away we go. I think everybody got a decent start there.
That's an insane start from Koushik. Exactly what he would have wanted. Oh, RB Ferraro, he just sneaked onto the inside and he has to P2. Eccentric sending down the inside on Oxygen, and Oxygen is coming back alongside, putting his wheels, and he's side by side going around the outside. And I think he's got the move done. Yes, he has got the move. Oh, still there side by side, but it's got the inside line. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to IRC's Round 3 Tier-2021 stream. It's another Friday, it's another race, and it's me, Deepakraj, streaming as usual. And it's joining me is Simply. How are you, man?
I'm fine, Deepak. How are you today?
Yeah, doing pretty good. The start of a good weekend, and we are in Bahrain today. So why not? Let's have a look at the track video.
Welcome to Bahrain, 5.4 kilometer long circuit, 15 turns, 2 detection zones, 3 DRS sector, 3 DRS zones, sorry. 15 corners, loads of elevation changes. It'll be interesting to see where these drivers make moves, especially into corners such as turn 1 and turn 4.
All right then, a lap of Bahrain rounding the final corner. We start off the Sakir circuit standard layout, which doesn't use the outer loop circuit. Lap times somewhere around the 1 minute 26, 27 region. Coming down to turn 1, braking at the 100-meter marker, turning in, wheels lock up slightly. Got to take a little wider line into turn 2 just to open up the corner. Try not to eat too much of the curb on the inside. Turn 3, a fairly mundane corner. DRS. Coming down to turn 4, take as much of the track as you can on the left-hand side. Don't touch the inside curb and try not to run wide on the exit. Turns 5 and 6, a quick slalom of corners. Turn 7, all taken pretty much almost flat out. Turn 8, get the car rotated. Turn 9, a fast left-hander leading down to a complicated braking zone of turn 10. Easy to lock the inside front wheel here as we open up the DRS. Now for the back straight, another overtaking opportunity here, going down into turn 11, braking just between the 150 boards. Hook the car in, try to use all the track and move the car immediately over to the left-hand side for turn 12. A fast right-hander before turn 13. Drop down a couple of gears, little tap on the brakes, open up the corner as much as possible, and we head down the final little section of track before we head down to the final corner, braking just below the green board. Hook the car in once again, try not to run wide, easy to invalidate here. And that is a lap of the Sakir circuit.
That was a good lap by Koushik Tummala, our OG video editor. And yeah, that was a really good lap. But coming on to this weekend seems to be a weekend of different formats, be it F1 or ACC. And this weekend we are following a sprint race format, which, to be honest, even I am a bit surprised how it works. Simply, why don't you just explain it to me and to the audience as well?
Yeah, sure. Sure, definitely, Deepak. And so basically how sprint works in our league is that we'll have a one-shot quali. So drivers are gonna load into the game, and they won't have proper short quali as we have had before. They're not gonna have 18 minutes, just one lap. So their one lap pace has to be up there to make sure they can set in a proper time within the time frame. Of course, just one lap, as the name suggests. And then we're gonna have a short 25% race that will act as a sprint race. And that 25% race is going to set the grid for our 50% main race. This is the format for 21, and the format for F1 22 side of things would, of course, be one shot qualifying. Excuse me. Although we're going to have the sprint race feature enabled for the F1 22 side of things. So we're going to be using that, and that's only 10 laps. I believe today we have about 14 laps of racing here in terms of the sprint. And then of course the 50% race, and the point system follows the real life point system, or for the people who do not know, it goes P1 gets 8 points, P2 7 points, P3 6 points, P4 5 points, P5 4 points, P6 3 points, P7 2 points, and P8 1 point, and of course fastest lap is included in the top 8 for the top 8 finishes.
Okay, so it does sound to be an exciting format to be trying it out. We did see some sprint race even in real life. It did brought out some good racing, and Bahrain is actually a good track to race on. We've seen some good exciting racing action in this particular track, so I do think this could be a good weekend to trial out the sprint race format that we are having.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen these drivers make moves, into corners such as turn 1, turn 4. Those are the usual dive bomb sort of places where they'd, prefer to be going and making moves. Although they do have to keep it clean throughout the sector through the S's, and make sure they're not making mistakes, because even one mistake over there, one slight touch on the curbs over there would mean instant spin for them. So they'll have to be very careful about that.
Yep, that is true. I mean, especially the turn 2 curve, I just can't get over it. How many times I have just lost my car over there. It's kind of infuriating, but getting that line right and getting through those curves is definitely going to have a lot of impact, if you ask me. Because if you make a little mistake over there, it's straight up into the walls in Mazepin fashion.
Yeah, definitely. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of lines these drivers take through those set of corners, because we could see some sort of a different, perhaps a wider line, or even a very angular line through there, to see if they can avoid the dirty air from the cars ahead or not. And we can see we're loading into the lobby right now. Our drivers are just selecting their tire strata. Sorry, apologies. Their weekend tire allocation, that is. Just waiting on a few drivers to ready up now. And of course, we're loading into the one-shot qualifying, as it says on the bottom left. The drivers are going to have 1 minute to, select their tire that they wish to start on, as well as, set up the, get their setups and set their fuels. This is going to be very interesting to see if all the drivers prefer to go onto softs, because I was seeing a few drivers that were trying to go on mediums, and someone's readied up already. So I guess we'll be getting underway really quickly. Just waiting for timer to count to 0. We'll be getting on with our one-shot qualifying here. And here we are getting away with our weather forecast. Of course, dry throughout. In qualifying, Dark Knight leading currently on the straight. Although, okay, Eric Griffin takes his place into turn 1. We can see Alex, who's taken the lead. And I would like to mention to our viewers that Envy has decided to start from the back of the grid to make sure that he gets a bit of a challenge, since he was having too much fun at the front, he says. We'll be seeing how it goes for him throughout the sprint race as well as the main race. Although currently Alex P1 followed by Ink. Ink takes P1, Dark Knight is P3, Blaze is P4. There's a lot of shuffling going on, so I apologize if I miss any sort of updates. Deadshot has retired from the qualifying over here. He's probably made a mistake somewhere in Sector 2, obviously. We're onboard Inc. currently. We're going on the second back straight over here right now. Very tricky corner, this one. You feel like, you want to go onto the power, but the track just does not give any grip over there. So you have to be really patient over here as well. The same case here, you feel like you can get on power early, but, your tires just don't wish to grip onto the track. And well, although I think Ink's taken it beautifully, he has to nail the final corner to get pole over here. I don't think he has, although he might have gotten a very good turn, turning on the DRS, crossing the line over here. And I believe Alex is on pole, followed by Ink, Dark Knight Neon, Uday, Saurabh, Rajesh, is AVD, Turbochuk, Eric, Vinay, Raut, Sai Tarun, and Envy, and Deadshot, I believe, was last. Very interesting one-shot quality there, Deepak.
Yep, it was. I mean, there was a lot going on in a very short period of time, so I couldn't track what was going on. But yeah, definitely Dark Knight is saying that I'm gonna. I mean, I wonder who was who retired. I don't know who that was. They're definitely not gonna let Envy start from the last, but that's for sure.
Yeah, I guess they already knew of Envy's plans from starting from last, but I guess they didn't want him to start from last. Although it could just be a genuine mistake. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what sort of ties these people have taken. As I say that, there's only Sai Tarun who's on the mediums. And Envy's not really starting last. He's starting P15 as Fuzzy Dunlop in the Alfa Romeo disqualified. I think he got a track limit, but yeah, Sai Tarun the slowest with the medium, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of strategy he's going for in the sprint race.
I mean, do you think medium is a feasible way? Because anyway, there's a pit stop involved. I mean, we do know it's a sprint race, but unfortunately this game does not have the sprint race feature, so it is a 25% race with one mandatory stop. So do you really think starting at mediums it really does look like a very bad decision from Sai?
I think it's a very good decision considering that, the people ahead in softs. I hope there's no carnage, but if carnage does ensue, then I think Sai will be in a prime position since those mediums last for a fair while. And then in the last stint where, his car will be lighter because of lesser fuel. And of course, there's going to be more grip on the track because, these people have done a few laps already by then. He's going to go onto softs. He's going to have a lot more grip. He's definitely going to be the fastest in the second stint.
But like I always say about this medium strategy, the way you're gonna navigate through all this chaos determines how it's gonna work for you. Like if you manage to just get a little bit of a nick on your wing, it's definitely gonna be boxing into a corner onto the hard tires. Like, do you really want yourself to be boxed in like that, especially in a track like this?
Perhaps not, but then again, we'll have to see what happens. Sai has to keep it clean, I guess. Make sure that he does not get boxed in and his strategy does work out. Although he does have the option of starting on soft since he's outside of top 10, unless he wishes to continue on the mediums and go follow with that strat. Although I doubt he'd be doing that, considering, I don't think other people will be willing to start on mediums. I think he's going to go onto softs as well. But if he does decide to go onto the mediums, then I think it'll be a very good strategy as long as he can keep it clean and he doesn't get any wing damage or just get into any collision, that is.
Yep, that's going to be very vital for his race.
Definitely, and we can see that our drivers are ending up now just playing their strategies, the fuel, making sure that the setups are right. We have about 15 seconds left on the timer. I believe we're going to have a formation lap as well, since we do not have the bug that is there on the 21 game, where regardless of formation lap, your tires get reset back to 70 degrees.
Game, right?
Sorry, 22. Yes, apologies. But yeah, they don't have this glitch, so it's going to be the formation lap first and then the race. Can we see the tires, Deepak, while we're at it? See if someone's gone on to mediums or not. Oh, interesting. Blaze and Sai Tarun have gone on to mediums. So Sai is sticking to his medium soft strategy. And Blaze, starting in the top 10, has decided to go. I
mean, didn't Blaze qualify on softs?
Did qualify on softs.
I mean, are we missing something here? Like, is that rule not applying to the sprint race or something?
As far as I'm aware, Deepak, it should that the top 10 qualifiers do start on softs, unless I believe we missed something, but I don't think we did, so this is kind of odd.
I mean, if that is the case, then it could be a major violation.
Definitely. Can we go on board Blaze to see if it's perhaps just a glitch or is he
Yep.
actually on mediums? He is on mediums. Okay, that's interesting. That could definitely be reportable, considering that he qualified on softs but is starting on mediums now. His teammate Eric Griffin starting P11, he's also on mediums. And
Well,
there's
Eric
only
Griffin at
three
least is out of
drivers.
P10, so that doesn't really look like a very
Yeah.
big matter of concern. But anyway, that's for the coordinators and for the stewards to have a look at and wander through the rules. But we are halfway through the formation lap, and I think it does look like a very interesting grid for me. What are your thoughts?
Definitely. I think Alex just does not have the race pace. I think Ink and Dark Knight will definitely be taking, or at least fighting for the lead in the sprint race, since I have seen their race pace and they're very, very quick compared to Alex. Although Alex did set in a very good qualifying lap, I just don't think he's going to have it to keep it together in the actual race itself.
It'll be interesting to see how Alex fares. Like you said, I mean, I think this is the first time I'm seeing him in the front row. In Silverstone, he was fighting for a decent share of points, but seeing him in the front row, I think this is the first time. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. And as these cars are lining up, and there's a fair bit of gap between. It's almost as if there's two sets of different cars over there.
Yep, that's it's like Eric Griffin taking a sweet time to get onto the grid.
Definitely, and if it was done on purpose, he will be getting penalized if he did it on purpose and wasn't just the game slowing them down. Although, the drivers have lined up on the grid, so Deepak, take us through the start, why don't you?
Sure, let's have a look. So cars are all lined up, just waiting for the lights to start up. Let's wait. So the 4 lights, the 5 lights, and it's lights out. And the car side have got a good launch. It seems to be a very clean launch so far. Ink is already on the back of Alex right now, and it looks to be a clean getaway so far. Let's see what happens in turn 1. And oh, we already see that's a very bad turn 1 right there. We just see Alex just spinning around and Ink just going through all that. I think there was a Williams just trying to squeeze through a gap that was just not there. I don't know whose car that was, but definitely that's a disaster for Alex.
Definitely, that was Turbo Chook who just cut across. I think he missed his braking point and just went straight on. He hit Alex. Unfortunate for Alex, although he does have the main race to come back, and he of course has 14 more laps to come back in this race as well. And as we can see, Neon, apologies, ABD is trying to send one on Neon. Fails to start doing that since there's not much space at that corner. Although he's trying to stick close to them, ABD up into P5 already. A very good qualifying from him. A very good race from him as well. Eric Griffin is up into P6 on mediums. Blaze stays at P8. And Sai Tarun has moved up a couple of positions as well. He's up into P11, although I see that Fuzzy Dunlop has made a mistake in the back and he's down into last.
Yep, that's not something that he would have wanted to do, but it's just he needs to climb his way back up right now.
Definitely, he definitely has the pace to climb back up, and it'll be interesting to see where he ends up at the end of this. And as we can see, Uday and Neon are fighting this out for provisional P3, and as Uday pulls into the pits, doesn't seem like he had damage, so not sure why he's gone in, but perhaps he did have some sort of damage that was affecting him, but we couldn't see it on our end. And we can see Ink has already pulled away a gap of 1 second, and Rajesh and Eric are trying to go side by side here. Eric stays ahead into turn 2, now coming on the exit of turn 3, he's still ahead. There, of course, no DRS until lap 3. Now Blaze is coming behind these guys, put pressure on Rajesh to concede the position, and they can definitely make it with McLaren 5 and 6. Although here we can see Deadshot on softs, he's trying to attack Mr. Rath and Sai Tarun, and sort of Pat's just letting a couple of people by, not sure why, but Alex is up into P11 already.
And he's trying to make a move on Deadshot. Deadshot seems to be awfully off the line, and Alex just goes through there. Will Deadshot try to stick it on the inside? This is a very tough corner to do it, but will he? Nope, decides to back out. That's a very wise choice if you ask me.
Definitely, they don't really have to go for moves for now. There is multiple laps left, I believe about 13 more laps left, so they can just take a chill pill, relax, plan up their moves and then take them, especially with DRS enabling the next lap. Envy has already moved up. Oh well, he is in P15 already, so I think something happened there and he moved back. But yeah, he's up into P15 as Eric Griffin goes off wide. Rajesh follows him through, But of course, no damage over there. Actually, Rajesh does have damage on the front end. That's going to affect his performance a lot.
Oh, that
And
was too
gone
close.
straight on. Yeah, he's missed his breaking point. That's let Blaze by. And he's definitely going to be going into the pits right here. Sai Tarun, now all three medium runners are 5, 6, and 7. So it's going to be interesting to see which medium runner comes out on top from this. And as we can see, Blaze is going down the inside of his teammate Eric Griffin. I think there was a tactical switch from those teammates right there, because I believe Blaze does have a lot more pace currently than Eric Griffin. And Eric Griffin will be left out to defend from Sai Tarun. Over here up into P7. This is a fight for P5, and as ABD gets a time penalty, 3 seconds limits, multiple warnings, he's up into P4. So Eric Griffin also gets 3 seconds, and trying to fight Sai Tarun over here. Sai Tarun and Raut are going side by side. Sai Tarun stays ahead, Raut of course on softs. These softs are going to stay alive for the next at least 2 more laps before they start to die out and slow down a lot. As Sai Tarun makes sort of a mistake, goes off wide, still keeping it on track, that does not bottom out since these cars do not use ground effect. Sai Tarun now, we can see the DRS sort of turning into a DRS train over here.
Yeah, it is. And Eric Griffin's broken car is not really helping it right now. He's losing a lot of downforce. He's not able to stick the car to where he's wanting to make it go. I mean, we did see that with the track warning, and his car going wide did really complicate some stuff. And we see one car going wide, an AlphaTauri and a Red Bull just attacking Eric Griffin. That's Sai Tarun going down the inside.
Yeah, I think he already got the DRS from that, and that's Mr. Raut, and he gets spun around. Mr. Raut gets spun around. That's a bit of contact with Eric Griffin. That's just unfortunate contact. All of them using up their ERS. Sorfpad is already outside of the 10%. He's down into the 5% mark of his ERS. Eric Griffin defending off the inside.
That was
and
a
just
massive
goes
send.
off wide. Yeah, the massive send goes off wide. Just loses multiple positions right there. Not a good race for Eric Griffin so far.
I mean, isn't he aware of the wing damage? Because I don't think he's making any attempts to go into the pits right now.
I don't think he does have wing damage. Shall we quickly check that, Deepak? Yeah, he has slight damage. That shouldn't really affect his performance that much, but yeah, it's sort of confusing to see what's happening. I think the strategy for going on to mediums is basically ruined at this point, since he will have to pit and get his wing changed. He cannot really stay out at this pace as well, since he's losing a lot of pace through these laps where he does have damage. He's out of ERS as well, so I think he'll have to pit for, I think, hards is his next best option, unless he wants to risk it on softs, which I think would not be a good option considering he has to push in for 10 laps. And in 50% race, they barely last for about 7 or 8 laps on this game. I think pushing 10 laps on a 25% race, which has a lot more wear than a 50% race, I think it's definitely going to be a stretch.
Yep, it is going to be a stretch. And we see Sai Tarun is already says he has to move on Blaze. Up here, will he be able to make it? Nope, decides to hang back. Oh, and we see Saurabh just getting all out of shape onto that corner, missing his breaking point. But he did good to avoid the car of Sai Tarun. But now Sai Tarun has got DRS. He's made an easy move. Will Blaze fight back on the brakes? So he does look to be sizing it up for him, but nope, decides to stay back, which seems to be a wise choice. And I think Rajesh has retired. What happened? And we have a safety car. Yep.
Yeah, the safety car in our sprint race in the first, I believe, 5 laps, that is. Yeah, definitely. This is going to change things up, definitely, but I think it's really going to help out the top runners, Ink, Dark Knight, who started on softs. I mean, this is a very free pit stop for them to go on to mediums. I don't think they're going to lose their positions, since I guess almost everyone's going to pit for either mediums or the softs.
Yeah, this seems to be the perfect pit lane window, so they could just go into the mediums and just go on to the end. I don't think it's going to be a very tough task. And we did see a penalty popping up. I think that was for Turbochuk, I guess. Oh, Turbochuk is racking up the penalties.
Yeah, 15 seconds. He sped into the pit lane there as well. So I don't think... I think he's frustrated with himself. Although I think we should remind him that there is a main race, 50% race right after this. So he should not give up. He can definitely come back in that race, although of course he does have laps now in this race as well to do it. And as Vinay has retired behind the safety car, Vinay has retired on the main straight.
Wonder what's
that's interesting. I think he was very close to Turbochuk, so he perhaps could have had some sort of a contact with Turbochuk, and maybe that's why he's in the wall. Because I mean, on a straight line, realistically, where you're going at least 300 kph, I don't think you should be able to retire like that.
Yeah, that was a very weird turn. Maybe he was trying to warm his tires, lost his car. I don't know what exactly happened, but yeah, whatever it is done. And yep, we do have one race driver.
Yeah, and can we check the tires, please, Deepak? You can see, yeah, as I said, they're going on mediums, although of course the medium runners have opted to pit for the softs. Few people going on to the softs here and there, but of course the people who started on softs cannot go on to softs because of the way the tire regulations work. You have to use 2 different compounds about the race distance.
So Sai
yeah, so
is on softs. 8 laps on softs. What do you think? I mean, realistically speaking, I think we'll be doing 1 or 2 laps more under the safety car. So you could say maybe 6 laps under the safety car. I mean 6 laps under racing conditions. How much do you think the soft tires will last?
Considering that we are under the safety car right now, I fully believe that his tires will last to the end. Maybe they'll drop off on the last lap or the second last lap, but otherwise he should be fine until then. And as long as, of course, he can keep it clean, not make any mistakes, and he can, completely use up his battery, use up his space, I think he has a chance to win this sprint race.
Yep, definitely. It does look to be a very strong contender. He just needs to nail his restart, and he will have the grip in his side.
Definitely, and considering that he is on softs, as long as he can get past Alex, the likes of Alex, I mean, ABD already has a time penalty. If he can get past Alex, then that's a guaranteed P3 for him, since Neon also has 3 seconds.
And Alex is already back in P4. Now that's a good recovery from what happened in lap 1. This got turned around at that first corner, but he's back into P4. That's a good recovery from him.
Yeah, definitely. Considering that there's only a few laps left, and I think there was only 6 laps that were there under the green flag. He's made up a huge recovery going from last to P4. And don't get me wrong, considering that he does not have a time penalty, as long as he can nail his restart as well, he'll definitely be fighting for that P1 place yet again.
Yep. Even before the safety cars coming in, the lead battle was heating up. Dark Knight was very much in the DRS range of Ink, and these guys are very much carrying out their battle still on. It's like they never left. It feels like that, and the battle is just going on, and then we got the safety car. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the restart is going to take place. But yeah, it's going to be very critical for Ink to get a good launch.
Yeah, definitely. I think most drivers opt to just slow down even after the last corner, and since they don't have to really go until the first safety car line, slowing down after the last corner slightly more, and then just looking at their rivals behind them weaving and then finding the exact time to go will be really crucial for Ink. That is what most drivers do. I think Ink will be opting to do that as well, as realistically starting the safety car, resuming green flags before the last corner itself is kind of not ideal, since that just gives your rivals a very good opportunity to make a move on you going down into turn 1. As we can see, Eric Griffin has got another 3 seconds and he's down into P last. He has 9 seconds worth of penalties. Yeah, as I was saying, I think he'll definitely be restarting after the last corner, since it's a very good place to restart and not before. But we'll have to see where he does, and of course they are weaving to get temperature into their tires.
Sai
And I think
Tarun,
safety car will be
he
in
made
this
a
lap.
mistake.
I hope not.
I just saw his
I really
position
hope
swap
not.
around a little.
Yeah, I think he has made a mistake.
Because I think he was in P6, wasn't he?
He was in P6 and the drivers are not giving them any way, so the other drivers haven't overtaken him by mistake under the safety car. So I think he just lost it while weaving, and now he's down into P8. I mean, of course, we're still not going to discount him. Safety car in this lap. Saying we're not going to discount Sai Tarun yet because he is on fresh softs compared to the others around him who are on mediums. But yeah, let's see. Riding on board Dark Knight now, we can see the astronaut safety car pulling away, and it's going to go into the pits. Ink and Dark Knight weaving over here. Dark Knight will be really crucial for him to get a very good jump on Ink and making sure that he can size up and move into turn 1 on the restart here itself. Ink is still fairly ahead, and Ink has gone already.
Nope.
Or he's not. Okay, that's very interesting.
Now he's gone.
He's gone. Well, now he's gone. Yeah, so he did restart after the last corner. He's back Neon onto Dark Knight. Now Neon is trying to make a move on Dark Knight. Ink giving his team a slipstream. Nope, just switches to the left-hand side, giving Dark Knight a bit of slipstream. Although Ink sends it down the inside. He's into neutral over there, and that, of course, did not help him. That also pushed Alex back. Now ABD is under pressure from Sort of Pat. Sai Tarun already making a move.
That's a murder.
As he don't know, gets spun around. I think it was contact with Blaze yet again. And over here we can see Uday, Envy going side by side with Mr. Raut, and we can see up ahead Uday making a move on Deadshot as Envy gets a slightly loose on the exit over there. Envy up into P11 from starting from P15.
Yep, Envy has definitely nailed the safety car restart, and we see Sauropat and ABD are having quite a big scrap here. It feels like ABD is feeling very much off the pace. It's almost like his car is having damage or something. Let's just have a look. Oh, that's very tight.
And ABD just made a bit of a mistake. Not sure why he let Sort of Pat by, but that just cost him 2 positions away. And Sai, of course, on softs, and that's Blaze on the inside of ABD. Now this is turning into a 4-car, 5-car battle for P5 over here. Sort of Pat leading the train, and that's ABD right behind Sai. And this is just a bunch of soft runners over here. Can we look at the tires, please, Deepak? So yeah, a bunch of soft runners trying to make a move, and as Blaze is trying to send one down the inside of ABD, sticks it, ABD goes off slightly wide, and now that's his teammate Uday who's trying to make a move on ABD, sticking really close. Side by side they are on the main straight. Will Uday go past quite easily? I think he will, since he is on the softs. But no, ABD is just not willing to give up the position on Uday, and he stabs the back of Uday and gets spun around. And gets wing damage over there, does not retire, but yeah, very unfortunate for ABD. Has collision with his teammate, and of course, you don't want to see collisions with your teammates happening, as that is the number one rule of motorsports. Don't collide with your teammate, although it has happened over here now. So not sure how it's gonna be in that Merc VC over there right now. Sai Tarun is still on the charge. They're trying to get past Sort of Pat easily. Of course, Sort of Pat is on mediums and has 3 seconds time penalty. Sai Tarun doesn't, so Sai will, of course, Sai will get his position over here of P5, but I'm pretty sure Sai wants more than a P5. He wants to get close to Alex as much as possible, and Sai is looking down the inside over here. They're going side by side through this long left-hander, and they're still going side by side, and now they're okay. Well, Sort of Pat is ahead over here. Sai backed out a bit, making sure he doesn't make a move there. DRS is going to get enabled the next lap over here, and we can see Ink has literally pulled away. Dark Knight's catching up onto Ink up top on the lead. Sai breaking fairly later. Sort of Pat goes off wide, and now they're going to be using their ERS to try and make a move, although Blaze is looking really quick over here. And we can see Neon going side by side with Dark Knight over here. Neon trying to send one round the outside. It's on the inside for the next corner, but no backstop since there's not much space there. But now that's giving an opportunity for Alex to make a move. Alex is now going side by side with Neon. Will Alex send one down the inside? Yes, he is. And he is ahead. They're going side by side though, but he pushes Neon off, but Neon keeps it together and he stays ahead. This is very interesting racing over here, Deepak.
Yeah, and behind there was a big melee going on, like a lot of cars going side by side through there. And there's just a lot of action going on right now. You see Uday just smashing that board. Probably didn't like the sponsor or something, but yeah, we see Blaze is. I think that was an NT making move on Blaze. I think at least capitalizing on all the chaos that these guys are causing over here.
Definitely, these guys were fighting with each other for the last 2 laps, and Envy just, it just helped Envy to catch up to them, and now Envy's trying to make a move on Sort of Pat, and where is Sai Tarun? He's ahead of Sort of Pat, of course. Now, oh, he did make a move on Sort of Pat, we just didn't catch it. Now Sai Tarun's on the charge to catch up to Alex, and if he can get past Alex, then he'll be up into P3 over there, and we can see Neon's going slightly wide. Sai Tarun will be dumping his ERS to get within the DRS detection, or at least braking slightly later. No, I don't think Sai was within that 1 second gap, although he was
very marginal.
Very marginal. He does not have DRS. Yeah, definitely. It was very close. He does not have DRS. He's going to lose out on the straights. Although the guys ahead of him are fairly low on the ERS. So he probably wants to save his ERS and then size up move. As we can see, Envy is on the inside of Blaze. Envy makes a move on Blaze fairly easily. Now Blaze is being under pressured by Sort of Pat. Sort of Pat not having the best of resets. He gets pushed back quite a lot. And we can see Alex just really pressuring Neon over here into making a mistake, although Neon already has 3 seconds, because I believe it's because Sai Tarun is catching up at a very rapid pace to Alex, and if he gets past Alex is gonna lose out on a very easy podium right there, Deepak.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, Alex is just hounding the rear of the Tarzan Martin, but Neon is just not giving that position up that easy. But I do think Alex has got to keep the pressure up. He is definitely getting through to Neon. Neon is currently running on 25% of battery, which is not very optimal. And I think when Alex is also on the same level of battery, so I think it's kind of level pegging right now. Everyone is just doing their level best, abusing all the tools that they have to gain whatever advantage that they could.
Yeah, definitely, but we can see that Sai Tarun's tries are slightly more worn out than the others because, of course, he is on soft. So it will be crucial for him to make a move on Alex in the next, I believe, at least 1 lap. Maybe he can take 2 laps, but otherwise, I believe after that his tires are definitely going to die, and he's just not going to have that pace. So
Yep.
you're definitely going to get ahead and make sure that he is ahead on the track.
Yeah, it is very critical right now for him to make
Leon
the
does
move.
have 3 seconds. Definitely, he's using up his ERS slightly, turns it off, thinks better of it. Maybe he's trying to make a move on the next straight. But of course, it's very, very close here. And Envy again trying to send one on Blaze.
Oh,
Blaze
no.
comes out and pushes Envy off wide. Envy is losing a lot of positions and looks like Blaze is a magnet for incidents over here today, since he's had a lot of collisions with multiple drivers over here today in the sprint race. So he's going to have quite a few reports coming towards his way. Although we can see Neon is still on the back of Dark Knight, Alex is on the back of Neon, and Sai Tarun is on the back of Alex. This is a train all the way starting from Ink, who's leading right now. He's defending for his life to keep that win over there from Dark Knight, at least a sprint race win. Although very close, Dark Knight does have DRS. He has a lot of DRS. Check Ink's DRS levels. Ink is 10% down from Dark Knight, but he's still managing to stay ahead. This is really, really good defensive driving from Ink. Managing to stay ahead in the lead despite there being multiple cars trying to fight for that win over here. Even with about 2 laps to go, he's still keeping it there and he's focusing. And Alex gets 3 seconds, so that is a guaranteed pony finish for Sai Tarun here, as long as he does not make a mistake. And that is a very good race from Sai Tarun, although I think Mr. Raut in the back has had a spin in Sector 2. Here we can see Alex is using up his DRS and he'll be desperate to now get past Neon. Neon also has the DRS, so this is just turning into a bit of a train over here, Deepak.
And we see Dark Knight is challenging for the lead right now. Ink is on the inside. Dark Knight will he go switch back? Nope, he doesn't. 6 behind. He will have another helping of the DRS, so will he have another attack? This looks to be spicing up right now.
Ink got the DRS, so he properly made that move over there and made sure he was behind the detection zone, but of course came out ahead at the end of it. Put Dark Knight in a very tricky position there, but again Dark Knight is going to have the help of the DRS as well as the ERS advantage over here, so he'll try to make a move on Ink on the next lap as well with the help of DRS and ERS, and next lap will be the last lap, so it'll be crucial for Dark Knight to make the move, and he's definitely getting desperate right there in the Alpine.
Yep, there is no way he's gonna hold back whatever he has. He's just gonna go full send to the next lap for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a very weird
there is
glitch.
Yeah, I believe a bit of desync, and they are... Okay, I will not say what I want to say because that will definitely be clipped in the wrong way. But yeah, Sai Tarun was desynced into Alex, and that was really good, but he's behind him now, although of course Sai Tarun, that's a very guaranteed P3 finish for him right there, unless he makes a mistake and loses positions or something. So he's had a very good race himself, Deepak.
Yep, he is. And thankfully the desync did not cause a lot of issues, so that's all great. And we see Dark Knight is chasing after Ink right now. Ink is already moving, trying to cut off the slipstream, but Dark Knight is having the DRS and he is using the ERS. I think Ink is trying to play some tactical games here, trying to get the DRS, but nope, he stays ahead. So he won't have the DRS this time around like last time, but I think Neon was trying something over there. I did hear a contact noise, but yeah, I think he'll be under attack from Alex as well.
He definitely is under attack from Alex, but he does have the DRS, so it's sort of becoming hard for these people to make a move on each other. And as we can see, Sai Tarun in the back, as well as Blaze and sort of Pat coming into this fight now on the last lap. Everything's cooking up on this last lap. Sai Tarun is making sort of a mistake here. Blaze, who's had a couple of incidents on this race, Sai Tarun's just hoping that he does not have an incident over here, since it's a very easy P3 for him. Although it's getting very, very close between these drivers. So if Blaze gets ahead of Sai, there's going to be a guaranteed P3 for Blaze. If Sai manages to stay ahead, it's going to be a guaranteed P3 for Sai over here. Of course, Currently, we can see, of course, a very big DRS train. Dark Knight is very close to Ink, although we can see Blaze does make a bit of a mistake. I think he's caused sort of quite a bit of damage, and yeah, we can see Envy's also into this mix over here.
Yep.
In P7, very, very close racing. Will Dark Knight be able to make a move on the last corner? No, but will he be able to outrun Ink across the line? He's using his ERS. I don't think he'll have enough of a gap to do so. And no, Ink wins the sprint race followed by, I think it's Sai Tarun. Yeah, Sai Tarun P3, Blaze P4, Envy P5. What a race it was for Envy. Uday P6, Neon P7, Alex P8, Torpat P9, Eric Griffin P10, Turbo Chook will be moving down positions over here. Fuzzy Dunlop P10, Eric Griffin P11, Turbo Chook P12, Deadshot P13, Mr. Out P14, ABD P15, Vinay DNF, Rajesh DNF, but P16, P17 respectively. And let's just say that Envy had a lot of pace this race. I mean, he's had a lot of pace throughout the season so far, and that's definitely helped him. Although I think ABD was the biggest loser out of here since he started P5 down into P15. And
it just felt like his race fell out in a very hard manner. Like, he just lost out a lot of time. I wonder what happened with him.
yeah, I think it was definitely the contact that he had with Blaze that caused him red wing damage, and then he had to pit, and then from there his race was just ruined. Although that means he would have used one set of extra tires that he probably would have saved for the main race, and now he probably has one set of tires that are worn out, and he probably didn't want to use them up, but he will have to use them in the race, or he have to alter his strategy somehow, make sure that he gets at least a solid points finish, perhaps a top 10 finish over here in the main race, 50% race that's coming right after this one.
Yep. So as you know, this race, the finishing order of this race sets the grid for the main race, the 50% race that is coming up. So don't go anywhere. And yep, Ink gets the first sprint race victory, and Dark Knight was actually doing pretty good to stick behind, and he was actually racing very sensible as well. Did not go for really outrageous moves. But yeah, that's your sprint race. We got Ink taking the win.
Sorry for cutting off, Deepa, but can we get the race director going as well, please?
Sure.
Thank you. So yeah, we have Ink with the win, Dark Knight P2, Dark Knight staying on the back of Ink, of course, and Sai Tarun P3 had a very good race himself, started P14 up into P3, followed by Blaze, who has had a couple of incidents, so he's going to get reported a couple of times over here. Envy starting P15 up into P5, Uday, Neon, Alex, sort of Pat, Fuzzy Dunlop, Eric Griffin, Turbo Chook, Deadshot, Mr. Out, ABD, Vinay, and Rajesh, and that is your race for the sprint race. Oof, okay. That was a very interesting sprint race, of course. I think the contacts Blaze and ABD especially was very unfortunate there, since ABD did have a lot of pace, but considering that he had a bit of contact, then he got red wing damage. And as I say damage, the Mercedes in the clip over here, you can see retires with, of course, damage. But yeah, ABD was lucky to not DNF there. I think he could have definitely tried to snatch away the fastest lap point, but that didn't happen for him. And yeah, very unfortunate for ABD, although I think Envy and Sai Tarun are definitely the biggest winners over here. I believe it's free tire selection for them to start whatever they want for the 50% sprint race. So apologies. So that will also be interesting to see, what tire strategies they go for in the main race, since it is a much longer race, and I believe it's 29 laps. So the drivers will have to sort of make sure that they can stretch their tires as long as possible, considering the tire wear is fairly high over here, especially on the softs. Don't get me wrong, the mediums do wear quite quickly as well. They'll have to make sure that they manage their pace, they manage their tires as well, of course, while keeping it clean throughout the main 50% race.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it's gonna be very. I mean, right now it was a 25% raise. The tire wear, although it did matter, it was not quite a lot, but in the 50% race, it's definitely going to matter a lot. So these guys are going to have to adapt the way they're going to push their tires, and I do think this race it was particularly exciting to watch. But I do feel for Alex because I think he was involved in some little incidents here and there that really pushed him off from where he was supposed to be. I mean, we did see that turn one incident where he got spun around, and I think even when he was chasing after Neon, there were times when he had to back off massively to avoid some contact with him when he was trying for a move. So it did feel like he could have achieved a lot more if not for some of those unfortunate incidents. But I definitely think he is someone to look out for in this race as well. He did show some brilliant pace sticking behind Neon over there.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's down into P7 or P8. I'm not sure, but yeah, a very good race from him, and he definitely has the pace. I mean, I think if he can, of course, keep it clean throughout the first stint, I think he'll definitely be contending for the win in the second stint. Since first stint is, I think the drivers will be opting for a soft medium strategy over here. So I think the first stint will mainly be making sure you keep it clean, although you of course make moves on the first lap, the first few laps, as long as when your tires are alive. And then after they die, you just have to make sure you take care of them, stretch them out, and then pit onto the mediums. And I believe medium should last until the end, quite fairly. So I think it could also be one strategy. Although, do you think drivers would consider a medium soft strategy, Deepak?
Yeah, I mean that strategy is always there on the table for the drivers to pick, and we did see Sai making a brilliant work of that strategy, trying to keeping himself away from all the incidents, utilizing the safety car window to perfection, and he did storm his way up to the podium finish in the sprint race. So he definitely did make me reconsider my thoughts about it. He definitely did make the strategy work. So that strategy is always there on the table for the drivers to pick. It just depends on how well they execute it, because there's a larger chance for error, and a much larger chance for you to just box yourself into a very unfeasible strategy if things go wrong.
Yeah, definitely. And if he does opt to go for the medium soft strategy in this race as well, again, I mean, he's starting much higher in the grid compared to where he was starting in the sprint. So he had more of a risk of, getting into incidents while starting in the pack than he's going to be at the front, especially with people like Dark Knight and Ink around him, who are very, very skilled drivers, of course. So I think they're going to keep it clean. And then as long as Sai, if he does opt to go onto the medium soft strategy, of course, if as long as he can keep it clean, I do believe he has a very fair shot at getting on the podium as well at the end of this race.
Yep, that is right. He does have some good things going on. So I do think the lobby is ready. The coordinators have set up the 50% race with the grid order of the previous race result. So we should be underway pretty soon. In the meantime, if you're watching this channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. We've got a lot of racing content going on. So this is just the starting of the week. So we've got a lot coming up this weekend. So do subscribe.
Definitely, we have the ACC race coming up tomorrow, which is at Silverstone. Correct me if I'm wrong, Deepak.
Yes,
And
you are
after
right.
that, so we're back with F122, our F122 boys, Tier 2 and Tier 1 on Sunday. Tier 2 being streamed at 2:30 p.m. IST on a Sunday. And of course, our Tier 1 boys, the fastest boys we have in IRC, they'll be fighting it out for the win over there at 8 p.m. on Sunday as well. So do keep an eye out for that. And while we're at it, let me just read a bit of the chat if you don't mind, Deepak. A few people are saying that Ink dub incoming. Ink is definitely going to win. So let's hope that we do not curse Ink and Ink does win. He does definitely have the pace. And we are on the grid now for our 50% race. Our main race, drivers are just, of course, as I said earlier, they're going to be setting up their cars, loading up their setups, changing their fuel, changing their strategies. And it'll be interesting to see what sort of strategies they go for, considering that they have a free tire choice at the start for the main race.
Yep, free tire choice is going to be crucial to see what kind of strategies you're going to see. It's going to be very interesting.
And since they are, fresh tires, I don't think they'd want to be weaving very aggressively on the formation lap, considering that it could add too much wear for them. And, in a longer run, that could ruin things for them. And of course, they have to make sure that they don't, crash out in the formation lap as well, because that could disqualify them. And that would mean that, of course, they're not going to have any additional wear, but that also means that they're not going to have any tire temperatures, which could ruin their start.
Yeah, that is not something that you'd want to have in a track like this where there is a long run on the straight. So every single meter of the straight, you're gonna lose a lot of time on cold tires trying to get up to the get up to speed. So yeah, it's gonna be very crucial for these guys to keep it clean on the formation lap.
Yeah, definitely, and of course they have to nail their start as well. And I'm not sure if you noticed it, Deepak, or not, but on the bottom right in Uday's garage, his tires changed from hards that were there to medium. So perhaps he's starting on mediums or hards. Maybe that could be a pre-race tire indicator, since it does show, I believe, the car tires. So maybe perhaps Uday is starting on mediums. And so is Abhi, and whatever we can see. I think only Abhi and Uday we can see. So I guess they're going to be opting to start on mediums then.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but let's see. We'll know for sure when the cars are loading onto the grid. So yeah, we'll see.
Definitely. I mean, it's just a speculation. It's not exactly what I think it is, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Of course, during the formation lap, we will be displaying the tire options, and as I say that, the drivers are readying up now for the formation lap and the 50% race. Over here, I think Abhi joined recently, so Sai has a teammate for this race. He did not have one for the previous one, but he does have one now. So let's see if Abhi, starting from last, if he can make up a few positions in the race and perhaps even help out Sai if he has the pace.
Yep. It's going to be interesting to see how the things work out at this race. Last race, we did see that the guys up in front had a decent launch, but in the middle pack, it was a bit a mixed kind of a launch. I think there was like 3-4 wide kind of situation into turn one that we could not really get it out very clearly in all the chaos over there. But yeah, I think definitely the drivers will have learned something from the last launch and will be trying to do something better, I hope. Let's see.
Yeah, definitely. And we're underway with the formation lap. Can we look at the tires? I believe Sai is on the mediums. No, he's on soft. Eric Griffin and Vinay are the only people who have opted. Sorry, Deadshot as well. They have opted to go with the medium soft strategy. It is very risky though, considering that they are starting at the back. There might be a few more incidents. And coming back to what you were saying, Deepak, it was definitely hard to follow, and I think it's going to happen again, considering that the main straight is so wide. You can definitely fit 4 cars on there side by side, although you cannot fit 2 cars even into turn 1, so someone will have to back out into turn 1. And that will be very interesting to see if any sort of chaos ensues over there. And we can see that a bit of gap is forming between the drivers. So Sai is backing up the pack a little bit from the Dark Knight and Ink, and there's a bit of gap as well behind Alex. So sort of paths, sort of slowing the lower end of the grid down. I'm not sure why, but the drivers are instructed to stay within 10 car lengths of the car ahead. I think he might want to catch up, although it is ideal that they stay 1 car length behind them. But yeah, let's see if he will get reported with that or not. Although I don't think anyone's going to report him. But yeah, let's see. Although if we can see Abhi in the back, I think he spun under the formation lap because he was right behind Rajesh, and now he's so far back. I think Abhi spun the formation lap. Although moving on, we can see Ink and the lead cars are now coming up onto the grid. Lining up onto the grid over here. The drivers, of course, weaving to get tire temps over here. Coming up onto the grid is Deadshot. And of course, the AI takes control of your car to line up on the grid in this game, unlike F122. So they have no control over that. But yeah, as these drivers are lining up on the grid, Buck, once again, why don't you take us through the start?
Sure. So, yep, take 2 main race. Let's see what kind of a start the drivers can put to today. Right, the cars are slotted in, so we should be having the lights any minute now.
Unless the lights are glitch, which I hope they're not. Doesn't look like the lights are going off.
Should be
Either are
any
they
minute
driving
now.
their cars. I think there's a bit of a connection issue over here from someone's side. Still waiting. I think if it does not resolve itself, I think there will be a lobby restart.
I hope that's not the case, but I do think it will start. Let's wait for a few more minutes.
Still waiting on the grid.
Yeah.
I definitely think there is some sort of a connection issue going on. We might have to restart the race. If someone who knows about it in the comment section over here, please do let us know if you know what the cause of this issue is. We have to see. And, as Heisenberg says, Monaco 22. Yeah, I mean, considering that we're stuck on the grid and we haven't started our main race yet, definitely does look like Monaco 22. I think that
This
has to be a
glitch
lobby
had happened
restart.
in the earlier stage of the game, but does seem to be a very weird this thing happening again right now.
Okay, so I'm reading the chat right now, and it seems that ABD has held up the grid and he's not loaded in. So ABD is holding us up currently.
His car looks to be loaded in on here, but I don't know what's going on.
Okay, lobby restart. It is confirmed we are having a lobby restart.
That
Well,
does. Yeah, that
yeah,
definitely
so
is not an ideal way to, but yeah, we have to do it. There's no other go. We can't just be waiting on
yeah.
the grid forever like this.
Yeah, definitely. I guess you could call it a red flag situation. Perhaps a repeat of Monaco 22. Yeah, we're just gonna wait for them to start a new lobby, and we're gonna join lobby, and then we're gonna hopefully get underway there and no glitches over there. And yeah, thanks Codemasters for not fixing a game that's over a year old at this point. Yeah, it is what it is. We can't expect much from Codemasters, although what we are doing right now is the lobby restart. The grid will remain the same, no change in the grid, and of course, uh, it is a free tire choice. I saw HP asking the question. So yeah, it is a free tire choice for the main race. They can start on whatever tires they feel like. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see again. Maybe perhaps the drivers second guess the strategies, and perhaps the soft runners start on the mediums or the medium runners start on the soft. So what do you think?
I really don't think there'll be any second thinking of, because we literally just we didn't even get to start the race. I mean, at least it was like 1 or 2 laps. Then maybe drivers could have seen something and maybe be like, no, this is not working. But we didn't even get to start the race. So I really don't think there's going to be any second guessing. Probably somewhere in the back we could see some drivers opting out from softs to mediums or whatever. But I don't think there's going to be any change in the top 10 at least.
Uh, I personally don't think there'll be any change as well, unless, of course, Sai wants to risk it again on mediums and perhaps start on mediums again because he's got not much to lose over here. But I don't think Ink and Darknet will be starting on medium since they do have a WDC to lose at the end of the day. I mean, they're not fighting for it currently, although they are in contention. So any points lost is still, points lost, and it does add up at the end of the day. So I don't think they'll be wanting to take any risky strategies over here.
And critically, this weekend we don't have Karthik Sub, who is one of the fastest drivers in this tier, one of the championship contenders. So that definitely means that it's time for the other drivers to step up and eat into some of the points deficit.
Definitely, and we are missing Karthik Sub, who is Ink's teammate, although we do have Neon, who is subbing in for Karthik Sub. But we cannot forget that there is Envy, who is still racing, and I think he's in P6 or P7, somewhere in that area, and he definitely had the pace. No, he's in P5, so he went from P15 to P5. So that will be him, of course, in contention for the win as well. considering that he has, of course, a lot of pace. Our championship leader currently for the WDC. Uh,
And
Although,
that hasn't
of
involved a
course,
lot of incidents as well. Don't forget, we did see a lot of. I think there was a contact with Blaze through turn one, and he was stuck in the pack for some time, struggling to get through. But in spite of all that, he has made his way up to P5. Although yes, there were some penalties involved as well, but still, to be able to get up that far, it requires intense amount of pace, which Envy is clearly demonstrating right now.
yeah, definitely, and I think we does definitely have the pace, but then again, he's starting P5, sort of in a tricky position. Ink is, of course, leading, and Dark Knight as well. So I think if Ink and Dark Knight can, of course, they're going to be fighting it out for the win, but if they can keep it clean and, pull away, then I think it's going to be harder for Envy to win today. As long as, considering that Ink and Dark Knight's pit stops go well and nothing really bad happens to them, I think otherwise it's going to be fine. Uh, it's going to be sort of difficult for Envy to catch up to Ink and Dark Knight, uh, considering that he is still in the mid pack. So he could get damaged perhaps lap one. Someone could send a dive bomb like we saw in the sprint race, lap one, turn one, where Turbochuk sent one down on the inside, just missed his breaking point, and that caused Alex to lose his lead. And he fell back down to P last over there, and he did have damage. So he will have to be careful, be wary of people around him. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he does end up at the end of this race. Hopefully on the podium, but uh, yeah, of course, we would love to see a three-way fight between Ink, Dark Knight, and Envy for the win.
Yeah, I mean, we did get a four-way fight last time around, so the only card that was missing was Envy. I mean, he did eventually catch up, but not enough time. But yeah, it definitely be interesting to see this race because Envy has a lot less cars to clear this time around.
Yeah, and we will obviously be focusing on getting a very good start of the line and pushing into turn one, and perhaps making a few positions up into turn one itself. Because I think if Envy manages to go up into P3 at least, into turn one on lap one, I think he'll be right behind Ink and Dark Knight, and maybe perhaps on lap one we could see a three-way fight already between those three, and then it's just going to carry out throughout the race. So that will be interesting to see sort of what sort of outcome that may produce, although this is just a speculation, although it'd be nice to see that it does happen.
Yep. So if you're just joining right now, we are in between the races. Sprint race just got over, and the main race is delayed right now because of a lobby glitch. So the new lobby is up. The coordinators are setting up the lobby right now. We'll be underway any minute right now. So stay tuned. We'll definitely be coming back with racing pretty soon.
Yes, we did have a bit of a glitch at the end. Sorry, at the beginning of the main race that was supposed to start, and we were just held up on the grid. But yeah, I hope that this does not happen now. And we're just waiting for, of course, as Deepak mentioned, the drivers to join the lobby, for the coordinators to set up the lobby, and the ready up message is out. So I think we'll be getting into the main race pretty soon over here. So just waiting for the drivers to ready up, and we'll be in the race very shortly. Of course, the drivers will have to load up their setups, change their strategies, uh, put the right amount of fuel for the race, and after that, we'll have a formation lap and we'll get going again.
The countdown is up, so we'll be entering the lobby pretty soon.
Just waiting on that. In the meanwhile, we're seeing a bit of F's in the chat. Not sure why. I guess it is for Alex Joseph. Is also in the chat. Yeah, very bad race for Alex. Not ideal, but yeah. Let's hope Alex has a very good recovery race from here on out. And as you can see, we are in the lobby. We are in the race, just waiting for the drivers to load up, and we'll be heading onto the grid. Waiting on Uday over here to ready up. Uday, I think, is our reserve for tier 21. Waiting on him to ready up. I'm at take 0. And we are in. Just waiting for the drives to ready up. Not sure if there's going to be formation lap or not.
I think there will be a formation lap, but yeah, let's see what the coordinators have decided. I'm pretty sure it's going to be standard having a formation lap.
I think there will be a formation lap, considering that they did not mention that there won't be any formation lap.
Yep.
So formation lap and then the main 50% race, where of course we follow the normal points table as mentioned in our IRC rulebook.
All right, Simply. So we've got a wind up and start up again. So yeah, I mean, last time around we did not really see what was going to happen in the main race, but what do you think will be happening at the start? Because we do have, I mean, the grid has more or less kind of resolved itself after the sprint race. So what do you think is going to be happening at the turn one? Any idea?
I think the same situation as before. There's going to be a few drivers who are very desperate to get a move down into turn one, and they're going to be going 3 wide, 4 wide on the main straight, and of course the turn one is so tight. There's only space for one car through there, so two or three of them will have to back out into turn one, and someone would try to go for a late break, as we saw in the sprint race, and they're gonna definitely cause some sort of collision. Although I hope such does not happen. And if Envy can, of course, as I mentioned earlier, if Envy can get a good start, then he can definitely fight for the win from lap one itself. So, and we will be focusing on getting a very good start. And the same goes with Ink and Dark Knight, since they're fighting for the lead, so they will also be having to have a good start.
Yeah, it is going to be absolutely critical for these guys to nail their starts, because making a mistake is going to make you fall into the pack. And we did see what happened last race. They were just scrapping so hard that there's a lot happening. Vinay is already disqualified. I wonder what happened to them.
I think he started, like, he reacted to the lights going out for the formation up and just hit the back of someone. And of course, he's disqualified now. I think he hit the back of Mr. Rao. Yeah, it's not going to be a good start for Vinay, considering his tires are going to be very cold compared to the people around him, as they aren't disqualified. We can see that the last car of Abhi is still in turn one, while Ink is entering sector 2. Quite a large field gap over here already on the formation lap. But yeah, I see lesser drivers have opted to go into the medium, so someone did change their mind.
I think that was Eric Griffin. Yep.
Eric Griffin was on mediums and now he's on soft. So Eric Griffin did change his mind. Although Deadshot and Vinay remain on mediums for this race. Still under the formation lap, halfway done, and we can see on the map that Sai Tarun has made a bit of a gap from the rest of the pack to Dark Knight and Ink. I guess he's just doing it to make sure his tires are, warmer. He can weave for longer, and he'll be having control of his car for longer. But that's obviously not encouraged between the drivers. I think Sai should catch up at the end of this at least, and he is, I think. So yeah, Ink is coming up into the final corner, after which he'll be losing his control of his car. The AI is going to park him up on the grid. Then of course he's going to get his control back for the start of the race. Let's see, sort of bad. Everyone basically just weaving to get tire times, and AI will be taking control shortly. Here, I think AI has taken control for these drivers. Ink is already forming up onto the grid. I think Ink and Dark Knight have formed up onto the grid already. They'll be eager to get going as soon as possible, and let's hope no glitches this time and we can get away normally. And Deepak, time to shine again, my friend. Let's do the start.
Alright, so take two. Here we go. And then we got 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5th light, and it's lights out. And it seems to be a good start up front. Ink is already chopping up Dark Knight. He's just moving on to cut off his line. And we see an AlphaTauri going on to the grass. That's Envy. And I do think we have a 3-4 white situation in the back. And we already see wings flying and the Mercedes and McLaren. Oh, this seems to be even messier start this time around.
Yeah, definitely. There's multiple cars collision in the back over there, and I think it just started off with Uday or someone. We could see an Alfa Romeo in the very distance, just going off wide through turn 1. But we can see Abhi is now trying to make a move on Deadshot. Deadshot has damage. Deadshot was involved in that turn 1 chaos over there. Now Turbo Chuk is trying to make a move on Deadshot. Deadshot, of course, he is missing an end plate, but that is enough to cause a lot of downforce loss, and it's not going to be good for Deadshot considering that he is starting on mediums and Deadshot is an AI. Yeah, he's just losing a lot of positions. He did make up a few positions, but he's losing them now. As Eric Griffin goes off wide, he makes a mistake. Now he's come out behind Rajesh, and now he's being under pressured by Mr. Raut in the Williams. Although Eric Griffin is still ahead, I think he used up a lot of his ERS more than he wanted to. And now Mr. Raut makes contact with Eric Griffin and he's gonna fight, and now he's had to concede a lot of positions, and that's sort of Pat who's trying to catch up to Rajesh, and Eric Griffin and Alex in the back there. Alex runs Eric Griffin off wide and goes off wide with him. And now Eric Griffin and Mr. Raut are going side by side. You can see Mr. Raut on the inside. Alex does have damage. I think he'll be pitting. Yeah, Alex has pit, although Mr. Raut has decided to stay out. Now Blaze is in P4. Envy is up into P5. Apologies, he started in P5, so the top, I believe, 6 order hasn't changed at all. And we can see the bottom 3, they have pit for new tires since they do have damage.
Yep, that was a very messy start, and we see Alex's race has already gone to shambles. Like he started in P8 or something, and now he's on the back of the grid. He's onto the mediums right now, and he's just gonna be praying nobody incidents, please.
Yeah, definitely, considering that he's gonna come out very far back, although he will have competition from Deadshot and Eric Griffin who are around him. You can see Sai has held up. His P3 Blaze has held up his P4, and Envy is trying to pressure Blaze over here. Blaze was momentarily looking down the inside of Sai, but decides the better of it. And we can see Eric Griffin is causing yellow flags in Sector 1. Not sure why, maybe had a bit of a moment back there. But yeah, this is still very close. I think that's multiple drivers still for P1 over here right now.
Yep.
Now that's Blaze
all
going
over the
side by side.
back of Sai Tarun, and he's sending it on the outside.
Outbreaks himself, but he's still side by side with Sai Tarun. Sai Tarun, of course, both of them will be dumping the ERS, although I think Blaze just has that lesser downforce on his side. So it's just ahead, and yeah, he's ahead of Sai Tarun right now. Although Sai Tarun's trying to make a move around the outside, they're going side by side through turn 3 over here, and he's ahead. The position back, has DRS, so now again this is forming into a bit of a DRS strength that is being led by Ink again, and as Blaze gets pushed off wide by someone and takes out the braking boards, and whoever's not using the line assist is definitely going to have a hard time trying to find the braking markers from there on onwards. Although that's helped Envy, who's up into P4 now, and is struggling. He goes off wide, stays onto the curb, bottoms out on the curb, which is now again helping Neon. Neon, of course, we saw in the sprint race before he made the mistake, before he had the collision, he was very, very quick, and he definitely has a chance of staying on the podium over here.
See, Blaze is already defending against Neon, and it does look. I don't know what happened to there with Blaze on the push turn 4. Was it really contact from Neon? Whatever, his car just darted onto the side out of the track and just took out that board. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see if there's any reports popping up for that. But yeah, this is like a good long DRS train all the way up until P8. So yeah, it's definitely going to be bringing out a lot of interesting strategy options. Let's say. Let's see, Uday is making a move on Neon.
Almost gets pushed into the pits, and Neon has damage, so he's gonna go into the pits.
And there is a lead change.
Dark Knight is ahead of Ink. We didn't capture what happened over there. Although we can see now Sai Tarun is defending off from Envy. the Red Bull fighting of the AlphaTauri, which we of course would have never expected in real life. It won't happen in real life.
Ink is
The
going
Ink
for
is
the
not on
lead.
the inside of Dark Knight, and now he's ahead of Dark Knight. He pushed Dark Knight off White. Dark Knight of course didn't get a very good exit from there, and because of that, of course, Ink takes the lead. And now Envy is trying to defend off from Blaze. Blaze is trying to send it on the outside, but of course there's not much room for him to stick it, so he does have to back off there.
Yeah, Blaze has been sending it around the outside through a lot of corners. He seems to be just having a lot of confidence in his car, just taking those lines which usually you don't see people taking when you're going for overtake. And we see Envy is making the move on Sai Tarun. He's going down the inside. They're still side by side through this corner. Someone has to concede at this point. No one is conceding. They're still side by side, but oh no, that's not the curve that you want to take.
Yeah, I mean, that was just very, very unfortunate for Sai Tarun. I mean, they were having a very good battle over there, and Sai Tarun was definitely in contention for fighting for the win over there, considering his pace. But yeah, now that caused him to be down into P7. And I was saying before the race that Sai might win this race, and I think I just cursed him.
Yep, I mean, I did say someone has to back out over that because that's what happened. And you see Dark Knight is going for the move again. Ink just staying back just a little. Probably Ink is doing the tactical chase right now, getting the DRS game. He's doing a cutback line and he's going to have the supreme exit onto the DRS. But I think Dark Knight did enough to just block him, but he still has the inside line. And I think this move should be done. What is going to help though, Envy is going to come in and he's already challenging with Dark Knight, but yeah, just not right now. But it is definitely coming in. If these two guys continue to scrap like this, Envy is going to be making his way pretty soon.
Not only Envy, considering that Blaze has a lot of pace right now, I think if Blaze manages to keep it clean and does not have any contacts with anyone, he can be up for a podium shot as well.
We see a stranded car in the final turn. I think that's Vinay.
It is Vinay not having a good race.
Yep, I think he's up.
So now 3 seconds and Abhi, and of course these people fighting is just helping Abhi to close in onto them. Abhi of course started last, he started P18 and he's up into P5 already, and we can see Envy is trying to make a move on Dark Knight, trying to send it on the outside, turns off the track and rejoins back behind Dark Knight, although he does seem to be having a lot of pace right now to try and make a move on him, and not to forget that Blaze is right behind Envy as well, so just a bit of slip up from Dark Knight, and Blaze and Envy both could be trying a move on Dark Knight over here into turn 1. Of course, a bit of a DRS strain, but of course, Blaze has been looking like he's had a lot of straight line, considering that he's far lower on the ERS. And okay, 3 wide in turn 1 almost, but yeah. And we tried to send one down the inside of Dark Knight. Dark Knight, of course, couldn't help it since there's not much space, and now that's caused Envy to make a mistake. And Envy and Blaze are now going side by side. Envy has the inside, pushes Blaze off slightly, and of course, he stays ahead, but yeah, Envy just made a lapse of judgment over there. He thought that he would have probably had enough space to make a move on Dark Knight, but of course, considering that how tight the turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 junction is, he just couldn't make the move over there, and that almost pushed him behind Blaze, and that helped Blaze try and attack Envy over there, of course. And Envy is getting a bit loose on the exit over there. But yeah, I think Envy just needs to calm down for a bit. I think the better of it, plan his move on Dark Knight and then send it, since he does definitely have the pace to try and get that win.
Yeah, it did look like Envy came up worse in that because Blaze had the optimal line through there, but somehow Envy managed to hang it around through that tricky line, but he still made it work. But he, like you said, he's definitely got to be careful because Abhi is right now within DRS range, so the 4-car battle just became a 5-car battle right now.
Oh, definitely, no. And as Envy's getting loose on the exit, that's not helping him. And as Envy tries to pull off an undercut, and he's gone into the pits. Can we look at the tires, please?
Yep, and the lead has swapped again, and Ink is doing the same thing again. Will Dark Knight try something? Will he park it on the apex? Nope, he doesn't. And
he does get a better exit though. As the DRS is using the DRS, and he's made an easy move on Dark Knight over here.
This seems to be a repeat of what we saw in this year's season opener. Just backing you just a little to get the DRS, get the optimal line onto turn 4 and just make the overtake on the inside.
That is definitely what's happening right now. And as we can see, Blaze was up into P3 because Envy pulled into the pits. He just goes off slightly wide, but he is still there behind Dark Knight, although he's used up a lot of his ERS. So he's going to be careful about that. And Envy's gone on to the medium, so I think Envy's hoping for a safety car very soon. And if there is a safety car, then that just means that he's going to get a massive undercut on everyone.
Yep.
And who's ahead of him, who hasn't pit yet. And in the back, we can see Rajesh is making a move on Turbochuk, and he's past Turbochuk.
I think Turbochuk is disconnected right now, so it's just AI just driving around. So yeah.
So if he's disconnected, then yeah, well, that would have been a fairly easy move for Rajesh, and that is an Alfa Romeo P8 and P9. Although we have to say ABD as well, who started last, who was last on the last race, and the drivers are pulling off into the pits. Will anyone try to make a move?
That was close.
Abhi almost tries a Sebastian Vettel, but of course feels that Saurabh is deciding to stay out. Saurabh will take the lead of the race. Yeah, that was very interesting. Someone almost made a move. I think it was Blaze who almost tried to make a move on Dark Knight, but of course didn't work.
It did look like Blaze was in a mind of two, like he was trying to do what the guy ahead was trying to do. It did look like a very unplanned last minute swerve into the pits. So it's like...
Yeah, definitely. There's yellow flags in sector 2, and that is Deadshot who's retired.
VSC, we got a VSC.
Virtual safety car. And it has to be a very big coincidence that Envy's disconnected. Envy is disconnected.
He joined back.
Joined back. Oh, safety car.
Oh no.
Full cost caution, safety car. So, I guess a suspicion was right. Envy did expect a safety car. Although it just happened to be that he got disconnected while the green flags were still out. And the other drivers pit, although he's right behind Ink. And I guess that would be Ink P1, Envy P2, Dark Knight P3, followed by Abhi and Sai Tarun.
I do think Envy's undercut was successful in a way.
It definitely was. I mean, it does seem kind of suspicious that his teammate retired and brought out a safety car, although it could just be a mere coincidence. Yeah, that was very interesting since Envy's strategy of undercutting did basically work for him. Although I think if Ink Dark Knight stayed out for perhaps one more lap, they could have gotten
a bit of a mix-up here between the Alfa Romeos. So what's going on between them?
I think Fuzzy Dunlop has to give his position back to Rajesh, but Rajesh is being given.
I don't think not this glitch again.
Okay, I think it's fixed itself since Rajesh is ahead. Although he's going very slowly, Fuzzy Dunlop is going slower. That is not allowed. Fuzzy. Okay. Interesting.
You're not gonna help these guys pause right now. Double stacking very close to each other.
Definitely, and I think if Fuzzy Dunlop slowed down just a bit and then perhaps tried to go into the pace, it would have helped him. But yeah, Fuzzy Dunlop's to fall back on more positions than he expected to, going on to the mediums has a very quick stop though. But yeah, it's not gonna help him that he did get held up, although we do see Eric Griffin and Turbochuk on softs, while the rest of the field is on mediums. Not sure why they would go for such a decision unless they believe that there's going to be another safety car that comes out soon. But I don't think that's going to be happening. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to help them on the first few laps on the safety car, but I think they'll have to definitely pit again, although the medium runners could theoretically go till the end on these tires, but it will be sort of a stretch for them.
So this safety car has definitely given Sai a second win. I mean, what happened there was very unfortunate incident, but he did manage to keep it away from the walls and just did a spin and kept it going, and I think he went for a pit stop immediately. He went on to a set of mediums. So in a way it has kind of worked in putting him back where he was earlier, but yeah, he's definitely going to take this chance right now.
Yeah, definitely, and considering that his teammate Upbeat is in P4, I think if they are in a VC together, I think they could plan on some sort of a teamwork strategy over here. Maybe perhaps Abhi will be instructed to slow down Saurabh so Sai can get past Saurabh, and then they're going to do team orders in that Sai bias, and Sai is clearly the faster driver here. And, perhaps Sai can challenge Dark Knight and Ink for the podium or even for the win.
I just seeing through the comments, and Nikhil has said, Sai, the human embodiment of Ferrari.
Okay. Interesting comment from Nikhil over there. I wouldn't really say so, although I mean, he did try and pull some sort of an undercut off. I don't think he was expecting a safety car that soon. But considering that Envy, did also hoping for a safety car, and the safety car did magically come out after that. So, I mean, of course, I didn't want to blame any driver for any sort of crash gate or something, but yeah, it's gonna help Envy out massively, since I don't think Ink has the pace to hold off Envy. So, I definitely think that Envy might win this race if can't properly defend off from Envy and even the drivers behind, since of course, considering that the pace of the top 7, I'd say they're very quick. I think it could turn into a 7-way fight for the win, as long as nobody as long as nobody gets a 3-second time penalty or gets spun around or something like that.
And I don't really think that there is going to be a very clean, no penalty kind of grid going on. There's definitely going to be at least 1 3-second that's going to pop up in the top 6, I feel like, because I mean, it's not very easy to do without track limits in this track. So yeah,
definitely. But the top 7 are fairly skilled, although I would say Blaze is sort of questionable if he could keep it clean, although I wouldn't discount him personally. I think he's still in it for at least a podium over here. I mean, of course, this track is notorious for 3 seconds. As we can see, the drivers, multiple drivers have 3 seconds, and since there's still a lot of the race left, I do believe that they might at least get some warnings if they have not, perhaps like 2 or something. And as safety car goes in this lap, and it's not gone well for Eric Griffin, since he's still 16 seconds away from the pack. He's gonna get left behind.
Yep.
And we can see drivers are weaving, and it just looks like a swarm of ants. Of course, different colored, and these are not ants, these are cars, and they are weaving. And Envy is getting very, very curious to go off. And as Ink has gone, and Abhi's got a very good restart. He's trying to send one on Dark Knight, sort of pat his teammate. He's looking back on them. And Ink is, Abhi is going side by side, and Abhi sends one down the inside. They're going side by side through turn 2, going to turn 3. Abhi concedes, but he's got a very good exit, and that's putting Blaze into contention as well, as Blaze is now going side by side with them. They're making it 3 wide into turn 4, and Blaze trying to send one, and Blaze gets spun, and I believe that was sort of Pat who got held up, and he's gotten damaged because of that. Or apologies, it might not have been separate, it might have been Uday over there, but someone did get damaged.
Yeah, the Sai Tarun's car also had some wing damage. I think that's really unfortunate for him. We're just talking about second chances and everything, but that definitely put a big spanner in his race right now.
Definitely. Could we quickly go about Sai and then switch back just to confirm? Sai does have damage, so Sai got caught in that, so it's not gone well for Sai. It was really unfortunate. I mean, Blaze did try to send it in a place where, of course, nobody would realistically send it that way, although Turbochuck is going side by side with ABD, the button breaker. I do believe ABD is using D-pad steering as well. I could be wrong. Do correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, let's move back to the fight that's happening for the top 2 positions. Over here, Envy's trying to send one on Ink. Ink is going... went into the pits, not sure why he did that.
No, but he almost did go into the pits to try to cut off the slipstream. But here entering side by side into turn 1, Ink is having the inside line, Envy is sent around the outside, but he's still hanging on. This is bringing the Red Bull of Abhi also into contention, but Ink is staying ahead just by a very fine margin, and the Red Bull of Abhi is also entering this battle right now.
Definitely, this is getting very, very close between the 3 drivers, and not to forget, even Dark Knight's joining in on this fight now. And as long as Envy and Ink keep scrapping with each other, there's both the Alpines behind as well.
And
Envy
spins!
Envy spins, and that's not gone well for him. And now that just puts Abhi, Dark Knight, and Sorfpat in contention for the win, as they have pulled away almost 2.5 seconds from Uday, who's leading the rest of the field. So now the pressure comes on to Abhi to make a move on Ink and get past Ink for the lead, considering that his teammate has not had a good race. Perhaps Abhi would have to have a good race and get solid points for the team. Considering Sai Tarun is out of the points currently, sitting in P16.
We got another DRS train here from P8 to P12. See, Andy is already trying to make one. Uday over here is very close.
Livy luckily does not have any damage, so if he has fair few laps left, so he can come back, and DRS gets enabled this lap, although he won't have it. Side by side, he's not using his ERS. I think he's just wanting to late brake on Uday and get past him that way, which he does. Which is Uday off slightly, but Uday does have damage. He has an end plate chipped off, and we can see Blaze is fighting with
We have a lead
them
change.
as well.
Yep, Abhi has gotten past
No
Ink into
problem.
turn 4.
Yes, he has, and now Ink is slightly struggling on the pace, although I think this could be slightly tactical, although not to forget the two Alpines are right behind him, so he's definitely under pressure, and to be honest, anyone could win over here, as Blaze sends one down the inside of Fuzzy Dunlop. Fuzzy Dunlop goes off wide, concedes the position to Blaze. Gonna have the DRS still here though, so perhaps he can try and come back. Alfa Romeo boys working together, P11, P12. Let's hope that they can get a solid points finish as well and don't make any mistakes. Although here we can see Alex, he has 3 seconds, he's right behind Uday, who's currently far behind Envy, who's far behind Sorfpat, and Sorfpat and upwards is just the way. And then Alex is sending one down the inside. Alex sends one down the inside, takes the move, keeps it, and now Neon is going side by side with Uday, and he's trying to send one down the inside. Has a bit of a wheel banging going on over there. Uday goes off slightly wide, although keeps it clean, does not make any mistakes, although both of them have DRS. I don't think they have DRS, and now Ink is trying to make a move on Abhi, very, very close to Abhi over here. Running on the DRS, will he be able to send one down the inside of Abhi over here? He's looking at it, they're going side by side, he does set it, and he keeps the move, and he keeps the position.
Yep, and I think Uday has some end plate damage. His car was lacking some front wing elements on the left side, I think. So he is definitely losing up some pace, and right now it's Blaze who is on the attack right now. He will be getting past Uday very soon, because Uday is just not having that turn, and he seems to be struggling. As you can see, he's just understeering wide over there.
As Neon has retired, would that be another safety car? That is another safety car. Okay, is that 2 safety cars this race? That is 2 safety cars this race. That was really unfortunate for Neon, as Fuzzy Dunlop gets 5 seconds for severe collision with someone. Collision with Turbo Chook. He gets 5 seconds for, so he'll have to serve that in the pits. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the drivers would be doing here, since the hards are just not a viable option. They are on the mediums.
So we can have one hard runner in ABD. ABD is in P15 and he is on the hards. And Sai Tarun, I think he might be kicking himself because he has just gone on to softs the previous lap, I think. Yeah, but again, hindsight, it's all 2020, but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the drivers have pit, and now the Alpine boys are doing a double stack on that.
Oh, doesn't AlphaTauri make a sneaky move?
Makes a move. Envy makes a move on Sorfpat into the pit lane. And now that's just not going to help Sorfpat at all, because Sorfpat is going to held up even more then. He's going to lose a lot more positions.
I think anyway Sorfpat was going to lose her because he was double stacking. And that was definitely going to make him lose some time. And I think Envy might have just, just got in there. But I still don't think even if Envy didn't do any of that, they could have already been ahead. But it does help him get the spit box much more quicker.
He just nicked the position off of Sorfpat right there, and Sorfpat's only lost 2 positions, which is, at the end of the day, in the long run, it's not really that bad. And I did get myself confused because since they did change the tires once already.
We do have a collision. Sorry to cut you off there. Vinay just went into the back of Rajesh over there. Or it was another car. I don't know who that was, but I did
I
see some
believe it
fronting
was
elements
Vinay.
flying off. I think that was
Yeah,
Vinay.
that's Vinay. Yeah, so Vinay's lost his fronting end plate and he has a bit more damage as well on the wing. We can see on the telemetry on the bottom left, he has an orangish sort of wings. That definitely means he'll have to pit. Him staying out, would have worked somewhat uh, if we did not get damaged, but of course he got damaged there. So he's going to be falling to the back of the pack. Although I think it'll just be down into P14 since ABD and Sai Tarun are far, far back from anyone else.
I just wanted to ask you this. Now, Alex, Rajesh, and Vinay had decided to stay out, which pretty sure it's not going to be the same for Vinay because he's got to go into the pits for the wing damage. But we see Alex and Rajesh have chose to stay out and take the track position. Do you think that's a sound call over here?
Definitely not. I think they should have pitted and, opted for fresher tires since literally everyone behind them is on fresh tires. And I think Rajesh, as long as I guess he could keep it clean with Alex, they could be fighting it out over here for a while. Although Ink, the people behind are on fresher tires, and as we can see, Ink win 8 pits, so that just pushes the other drivers up one position. I think this is worst possible strategy for Alex and Rajesh. They should have probably pit, and we can see in the chat that some people are sort of frustrated with the Ferrari master plan over here, considering that both the Ferraris were out. Although of course Vinay has pit now, but he is plumb last, and now Alex has stayed out on 7 laps old tires, which is not gonna help him. So I think Ferrari fans are getting PTSD from real life, although this does put a lot of pressure on Alex since he has to keep it clean and make sure he can stay ahead, although he does have a 3-second time penalty or perhaps more. Can we see the time penalties?
3 seconds.
Yeah, he has 3 seconds. So.
But I do think Alex can stand a chance. We did see that he had some good pace, but was just caught up in some incidents every single time. So yeah, I think at least in the first few laps he can hold out, but eventually as the tires fade out, the 6-lap advantage of the guys behind will definitely kick in at one point and we'll be struggling. But it's all about how much he could pull out right now, and he's definitely going to be praying that the guys behind scrap pretty hard. We did see them going at each other's necks for quite a long time. They were just at each other's throats, and he'll definitely be hoping something similar happens.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's hoping more. He's counting more on Rajesh just holding the rest of the pack back, and as I think the safety car will be going in this lap. Although for whatever reason there's a bit of a gap forming, but I definitely think that safety car is going to be going in this lap. And as I say, that safety car is coming in this lap. Alex will be counting on Rajesh just having a poor start and holding Ink and the rest of the pack off while he pulls away as much as he can. Although of course the rest of the pack is on much fresher tires and they gonna have a much higher advantage in terms of tire wear compared to Alex and Rajesh.
Yep, let's see how Alex takes a safety car restart. He's just breathing right now. He's still not launched up yet, and I think he's going
gone.
up right now. Yep.
He's gone and he's pulled away a lot of gap, about a second and a half already.
That's a huge gap.
Rajesh. Yeah, and Dark Knight is just falling behind now. Although Abhi is now trying to send one on Ink. They're going side by side. Abhi breaks later, does make up the position on Ink. Now Abhi will be trying to make a move on Rajesh, although something happened over there. Let's put Ink up into P2. I think Rajesh just did not have the grip, slowed Abhi down, and yeah, that just helped out Ink a lot. And now Rajesh is fighting with Abhi. Rajesh goes off wide. That promotes Abhi up one place. And Envy has now made a move on Rajesh over here. Rajesh is just dropping down the grid.
And Blaze is sending on the inside. Oh, that's a DNF. Blaze just completely knocked Dark Knight out of the position over there and just sent it on the inside. That was a very brutal send.
Yeah, I mean, Blaze has had a lot of incidents in the sprint race. Had kept it clean until now, but has had a collision with Dark Knight. Now Dark Knight's retired, someone who was definitely in contention for the win. You can see over here Turbo Chuk behind Uday. Uday has 3 seconds. Ink has closed up about 3/10 to Alex. Although Alex has, of course, had a very good start, so he's trying to maximize his space as much as possible. Although we can see over here, Envy is right on the back of Upbeat. There's yellow flags in sector 3. Who's that?
That
is
Fuzzy
Dunlop.
Dunlop.
Spun over here, and now we can see no safety cars as of yet. Hopefully no more. We can see Abhi is now putting a lot on Ink yet again. Will his late break and send one down the inside? Yes, he did. A bit of wheel banging over there, but Ink's lost the position over there to Abhi. Now Envy is trying to make up a move on Ink. Looks down the inside, does not make it work. That was just too far back to make it work. Would have been risky to send it over there. As Uday is now past Rajesh. Yeah, Rajesh's old eyes are not helping him at all.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but Rajesh looks to be extremely out of pace from the restart. Like he was completely caught napping in the restart, and that meant the entire grid fell back and Alex got some breathing room. And even after that, he seemed to be dropping like a stone. It's almost as if like he was out of pace, or his tires were completely dead or something like that. I don't know what was happening with this car.
I think his tires are definitely dead, or he could have also perhaps given up, since he does have 6 seconds of time penalties for track limits. And we can see now Envy is trying to size up, move very close there on the no
and we see spinning car of Alex. Oh no!
Alex! Oh no! Alex is now retired!
This seems to be a full Ferrari experience right now.
Definitely, any Ferrari fans out there are definitely getting PTSD from real life. They're gonna absolutely hate watching this race. I think that's both the Ferraris out of this race. No, Vin is still there, but Vin is down into P11. Vin is down into P11 on soft, so DRS is enabled. Blaze, of course, had a bit of collision with Dark Knight, which caused Dark Knight to retire. He's now closing up on the back of Envy. Envy over here using DRS to try and close up onto Ink, but of course Ink also has the DRS. Abhi is now leading this pack and more laps to go.
I was just about to say how Alex maybe he made his gamble work. Maybe he could just hang on just a little bit, but I mean, that spinning red car was not the thing that I thought I would see over there.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, it was bad enough for him to spin, on top of that retire where he was in a very good position to score decent points. That's definitely not going to help him. Although now this just unleashes Envy and Ink. Envy who's trying to come as ABD has retired. And I did see a penalty coming up for severe collision with ABD, so someone's definitely had some sort of a collision with ABD.
That's Ferrari, I think. That's a Ferrari that's stuck along with him. I think that's Vinay. Maybe they had a collision.
Yeah, so Vinay had collision with ABD, and that's caused ABD to retire. Elephant 72. No safety cars as of yet. Envy, although in the meanwhile, has closed up a lot on Ink. Ink is outside of 1 second of Abhi, and Ink is not going to get the DRS. So Envy has the DRS plus the ERS plus the slipstream, and I think this is going to be a fairly easy move for him.
Yep, Ink lost the DRS, and it's easy for him. You can see the speed difference over there. But this time around, Ink will have DRS. Will he be able to do anything? That's the key point.
I personally don't think so, since Envy has a lot of pace, but of course he is in the contention. Now Blaze is behind Ink, and he'll be looking to put pressure on Ink. Ink just has lost his pace after waiting. Not sure what's happened to him, but yeah, I think he'll be looking to come back the next 9 laps or so and perhaps try for the win again, as Envy sets the fastest first sector. There's yellow flags in sector 3, and that's Mr. Raut who spun right there in sector 3, coming out of the penultimate corner. We can see Obachuk who's trying to close up on Rajesh. Rajesh with 3 seconds. There's yellow flag in sector 1, and that's Eric Griffin who's retired.
We've lost so many cars in a short span of time. I wonder what's going on.
Definitely, I think there's some sort of force that the safety car has left them with. It's causing them to retire, and they're basically dropping like flies over here right now. Envy is improving a lot on his time. I think he's definitely gonna make a move on Uppy in the upcoming straight. I mean, he's very, very close to him already.
And I think we could also see another move from Blaze as well. He seems to be much closer to Ink this time around. But I think Envy's Monabi is for sure going to be a surety, because he's already pulling out to the right side. He's already ahead. It's as easy as it could ever get.
the fastest lap while he's at it as well. So that just shows how much pace he has. Blaze did get close to Ink, although did not manage to make the move. Laps remains about the same for the both of them. Abhi is basically dumping his ERs in the hope that he can get past, and now they're going side by side. Looks at it from the outside, just does not go for it, thinks the better of it, since he is going to be at a disadvantage right there.
Yep, I don't think right now Envy is just going to bolt away from this pack, and yeah, I think it's just that's all that he's got to do right now.
Definitely, it's going to be crucial for Ink to get past Abhi over here if he has any sort of chance of closing up onto Envy. If not, I think that will be wraps for Ink over there, at least in the hopes that he could win.
I mean, this did kind of turn out to be a bit of an anticlimactic race so far, because I did expect the Alex car to be a bit of an outlier. I thought that would add some more spice into the race, but his car DNFing really just opened the doors for these guys to just carry on, and Envy made the most of it, and he's already broken 3 of the DRS range, and Abhi is now going to be running without any DRS.
Yeah, definitely. And now we can see Ink. Yeah, Ink is definitely getting desperate over here behind Abhi. Abhi, considering that he's fallen off of the 1 second of Envy, Ink is definitely getting very desperate here to make a move on Abhi, but he's just not able to size up a move on him. Just falling short. Maybe perhaps he's wishing for the track to be longer by at least 200 more meters, so that perhaps he can try for a late break, try for a dive bomb. But yeah, it's just not coming to him. Ink really needs to get it together and quickly get past Abhi to have somewhat of a chance of reaching Envy.
Yep, we've got 7 more laps to go, and it just looks like the race seems to be sealed as it stands. So yeah, it's just P2 and P3, and we see a Mercedes is going wide on the outside. I think that's Uday. I don't know what happened to him. He just seemed to have gotten this turn 10 line absolutely wrong over there.
Yeah, that corner is very notorious for people to just outbreak themselves and make a mistake. So I guess that is what happened to him. Although he hasn't retired, so I guess that's fine. He has kept it clean. I still think he does have that damage, so that's not going to help him out either. Unless he did change his wing, and he is on new wing over here, a full wing, no damage on it. We can see Ink now with the ERS, turns off his ERS. I think he's confident enough in his DRS space to get past him. No, not close enough again. I think he should have definitely used his ERS, and although now it's a much better exit compared to Abhi. Very close behind him, dumping his ERS, turns on the DRS, trying to going around the outside. It's the move done fairly easily, considering that Abhi has no ERS left, although now that Ink has dumped his ERS as well, he's going to be fairly low on it. And now that's just putting Abhi under pressure from Blaze. Blaze has been really quick all weekend throughout.
Yep, I think although Blaze is still demonstrating some good pace, but I do feel like he's having some penalties looming over his head with some of those incidents that we saw earlier, like that incident with Dark Knight and everything. But I think he's still going to try and make the best out of whatever he could.
He definitely will be trying, although I do believe, as you said, he might be getting a few penalties here and there. He will be getting reported quite a lot, though, although we can't tell if he will be getting penalties or not. These are up to the stewards to decide and take an action on. We can see, although Blaze is still, again, he's getting desperate to make a move on Abhi. I'm pretty sure Blaze knows that he is much, much faster than Abhi. And I guess that's just making him desperate as well to get past Abhi. Although Abhi does have the DRS from Ink, and considering that Envy has been unleashed in the free air, that's just an easy move. An easy win for Envy, unless he makes a sort of mistake. Abhi sends one down the inside of Ink. Ink just could not defend it. Ink gets stabbed by Blaze and loses the back of his car. Blaze gets Blaze gets penalty for multiple warnings. So he did, at the end of the day, get a 3 seconds. Now he's gonna fight, and he's gonna try and fight and stay ahead of sort of Pat within his 3 seconds. And we can see now Ink, of course, getting desperate. So this is just turned into a fight from P1. We had 7-8 drivers trying to fight from P1. Now this is crumbled up to about 2 drivers fighting for P2.
Yep, so with that 3 seconds, I think Blaze is definitely out of podium contention at this point. But these two guys are giving their absolutely everything. So the only chance of Blaze right now is for these two guys to have an incident or something like that. But I really hope that doesn't happen because these two guys have been putting on a good show. And let's see what kind of move Ink will do right now. I think last time around Ink was hoping that he might get DRS, but he was just not at the detection point. So he did not get a DRS onto turn 4. But that has been his favorite overtaking spot so far. Let's see what kind of move he cooks up this time around.
Definitely, I think he has to, in my opinion, he has to make a move into turn 1, put Abhi in a very sort of uncomfortable position into turn 2, 3, and then he can properly size up the move into turn 4.
But Blaze is much closer this time around.
Yeah, and if Ink can get past Abhi, I think Blaze can too. Is still very close. Ink and Abhi going side by side. Abhi blocks off Ink. There's a bit of contact, although no damage for Blaze. Still keeping it fairly clean. Ink is going to try and make a move onto Abhi, although I think he's too far back for that.
I think the contact from Blaze really did upset Ink's line over there because he usually runs a very tighter line through turn 1 to get a good exit after turn 2, but that little contact would have definitely pushed him up much wider than what he would have wanted.
Exactly. It was basically somewhat of a repeat of what happened the last lap. And that just happened again this lap, and it was very good defending from Abhi, although I do believe that's gonna piss off Ink and Blaze, since of course they're very desperate to make a move on Abhi, and Abhi is just defending like a lion over here from Ink and Blaze. On the Blaze does have 3 seconds and Saurabh is closing in, so I think Blaze is gonna lose his P4.
Yep, and while this battle is going on, Rajesh has nicked the fastest lap point. And he's in P8, so he will be getting that point away from MP.
Definitely, and as long as he can maintain like a proper gap from Fuzzy Dunlop as well, he'll be able to keep his one fastest lap point plus whatever points he gets for
but
his
I think it's gonna be a tough thing because he's having a 9 seconds of penalties. So
yes, so that could turn out to be difficult, but I think if he's taken the fastest lap at this point of the race, then he could probably keep up the pace. We can see Abhi going all over the... Yeah, I was coming to that. Abhi is weaving a lot, and now Ink is trying to send one again. Abhi just blocks off the apex.
I think it's a much tighter line. He's going to have a much better exit through this.
Yeah, he got a very, very good exit. Turns on the ERS, the DRS. Now, again, just sends it round the outside. Very, very easy move. That is his favorite overtaking spot on this track. And now, as long as he can pull away slightly from Abhi, I think that's going to put Blaze in contention for the on-track P3.
Yeah, Blaze seems to be much closer right now. I think this could play into the hands of Ink if Blaze is going to launch an attack on Abhi right now, because Ink needs that gap, and that gap is not going to happen if Abhi is non-stop on his diffuser. He needs something else to get distracted.
Yeah, definitely, considering that all of these drivers are ERS dumping, they're going to run out very, very quickly, and it's just going to come down to whoever has more raw pace. And by the looks of it, Ink is pulling away slightly, although as you said, Blaze has to size up to move on Abhi, or at least try and fight Abhi so that it helps Ink out at the end of the day, as Sai Tarun gets 3 seconds for the time penalties. He's currently now in P9.
Yep, and if these 3 guys continue to scrap like this, we still got 3 more laps to go, and Saurabh is 1.5 behind, so I really think there might be an outside podium contender from Saurabh today.
Yeah, and Ink did weave a bit, although now Abhi is getting very close to Ink over there. Abhi sends one down the inside. Blaze almost taps the back of Ink again, and I'm pretty sure that would have
doesn't get DRS this time around.
Yes, and that's Blaze who's trying to send one down the inside of Ink. He's gonna try and make a move again over here. Did work out for him the last time he did it, although it does work out for him now since Ink just backed out.
Yep, I did think that again Ink was like he was happy considering the place because of the DRS, but he did lost, and as it Saurabh is within DRS range of Ink, so he has joined this podium battle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, considering that there's 2 laps to go, he is in very good contention over here. Saurabh Pat, he's just waiting for either Ink or Blaze or Abhi to make a mistake. And, he'll be right there, perhaps behind Ink or Abhi or Blaze. And he can definitely then properly fight for it, although he is closing in a lot. I think he's closed up over 2 seconds in the last couple of laps. So he definitely has the pace right now.
But he has used up quite a lot of his battery. That's going to be something to be concerned about. He has 20% battery left, whereas Ink has got 30. I mean, that's not a lot more, but I think
Of
that
difference.
10% could make a difference.
Yeah, and considering that you have a lot more battery power over 30%, and considering that Ink was above that 30% and Blaze is just under 10%, I think that does put sort of Pat in a decent position. And as we can see, Blaze is trying to send a move on Abhi, but of course Abhi has very good defensive skills, just blocks off Blaze. The Blaze over here, he has gotten a decent run up. Abhi, he's trying to send it around the outside. Abhi again just blocks off the apex, and that just means that Blaze will not be able to make move over there, and Blaze will just have to wait out for at least another sector before he can consider making a move on Abhi.
I did thought he was going to send another one down the inside in the hairpin, but yep, that did not happen. So Ink is right now out of DRS, so he just has to use his battery and his racecraft to defend his position as it stands. Saurapath seems to be having the DRS, but he just needs that little bit extra to close down running. And up front, we see some weaving already. Blaze is looking up the inside, but he just sticks back. Abhi is holding on to the position for now, but we did see some weaving again. So yeah, this is getting interesting.
It's getting very, very interesting, and not to forget that Blaze does have 3 seconds. So the fight between Saurapat and Ink is crucial, since whoever comes out ahead of them, in between them, he's going to get the final podium position. And right now, by the looks of it, considering that Saurapat has a lot more pace, I do believe it's going to be Saurapat. And also Ink does not have the DRS. So this could be a fairly easy move for Saurapat. Ink is weaving, blocks the inside, but yeah, Saurapat just has a lot more straighting considering he has the DRS. Up ahead, the Blaze has sent one on Abhi.
He sent it on the outside.
Around the outside, they're going side by side. Blaze has the inside for the next corner, stays ahead. Although Abhi now has the DRS, but I don't think that will be enough of a gap to make a move. Looks down the inside, thinks the better of it. Ink is right on the back of Saurapat. Saurapat is ahead of Ink now. So I think Saurapat will be looking forward to really pushing a lot more now to catch up to Abhi. And he's already within 1 second of Abhi. So he's definitely going to have the DRS. So this is he's not been a good 5-3 laps for Ink.
Yep, it definitely has not been. He's just, as it stands, he's out of the podium contention, and it's MV1, Abhi P2, and Saurav P3 as it stands. But yeah, I mean, if Saurav can make move on Abhi, he could actually get into P2.
Definitely, and looking at his current pace, he is very quick. Although Abhi does also have the DRS. We are on the final lap over here. I've literally just realized.
Yep.
Envy is coming around the final corner. And can you quickly just go on board Envy? He does get a bit loose on the exit, although Envy crosses the line and wins the Bahrain GP. Let's go back. This is a very interesting fight. Ink is not close enough to make a move on Saurapat. And that is your final podium finishers. Ink really tried but just couldn't get it. Is Abhi P2, Saurapat P3, Ink P4, Blaze P5, Uday P6, Turbochuk P7, Rajesh P8, Sai Tarun P9, Zid on the P10, and Vinay P11. Oh, those were very interesting final few laps over there, Deepak. Ink just seemed to not have the pace. Perhaps he just fell under the pressure of the drivers around him, and he just couldn't keep up the pace there, and he went from being a very solid intention for win, and then of course Envy overtook him and we pulled to a large gap, so he was looking like a very solid contender for P2, and then he just lost all of his pace coming towards the end of the race.
Yeah, it did feel like he just fell off, like rapidly fell off or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it is a bit unfortunate to see someone who was contending for a race and not even stand on the podium, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So Saurapat really did good to sneak into the podium over there. Definitely we did not see him coming literally. I think even Ink did not see him coming there.
Yeah, definitely. That was really quick driving from Saurabh. Saurabh just pulled in a large gap. He went from being like 2.5 seconds or something like that all the way down to, a couple of laps. He just closed in a large amount. He had a lot of pace towards the end, just, used his ERS wisely, and I definitely think he definitely deserves the final podium position.
Yep. That was an amazing race. No, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I do know that Bahrain is a good race, provides a lot of good action, but today was just something else.
Definitely. We did expect chaos, and chaos did ensue. But yeah, I mean, we really didn't wish for safety cars considering what happened the previous race. But I guess if this is what it has to be, then it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, this is the final finishing order for you guys over here. Envy takes the win, followed by Abhi, Saurabh, round of the podium. Ink, Blaze, Uday, Tobachuk, Sai Tarun, Rajesh, Fuzzy Don of Vinay, Mr. Raut, Eric Griffin, ABD, Alex, Dark Knight, Neon, Deadshot. That is the race.
And I don't think we're going to be having a fastest lap point as well. Mr. Roth has taken the fastest lap, but he is in P12.
Yeah.
So, fastest lap
that's
point
not going to be a fastest lap for him. I mean, I'm pretty sure he wanted one, but he just not at the fastest lap. That's just unfortunate for him. I mean, I believe Envy had it for a while, and then Envy lost it. So do give me a second here. I'm just trying to get our drivers into podium interview over here. And let's start moving our drivers in. Okay, so our podium sitters are here for the race. All of them are muted though. Okay, so let's start with our P3 driver, Saurabh Pat.
Can you hear me?
We can hear the Deepak. Why don't you take us away? Deepak is busy, so I will do it. Okay. So, Saurabh Pat, a very good race from you. Very interesting race. Started. I'm not sure where you started, but yeah, I think you missed the carnage that happened in turn 1 on the first lap of the main race. And yeah, you seem to have a lot of pace throughout the race, and you managed to catch up. Towards the ending, we could see after the safety car restart that the top 4, top 5 had pulled away a fair amount, and you're about hanging around 2 seconds behind them. Although once the positions of P2, P3, P4 started fighting, you just closed in a lot in the final few laps, and you had to fight through Ink, had to fight through Blaze to get that podium. So just through your race, what happened during the last few laps as well.
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to correct you. Like I was completely taken out at the carnage at the lap 1, and I went to P16. But then I guess the safety cars turned it around. Like I hung on for one more lap, and then the first safety car occurred, and I gained a lot during that pit stop. So that was where like I got a little bit lucky.
Okay, so I do apologize for getting that wrong. So can you just talk us through, what was going through your head, and what you were trying to do in the last about 5 laps or so when when you caught up to Ink and Blaze and Abhi, trying to fight for the podium.
So my initial thought was to just keep it safe and bring it home P5, because I have gotten into a couple of incidents in the first 2 rounds, and even though I had the pace, I finished much lower than what I would have liked. So I was just keeping it clean. But then when I saw Blaze get that 3-second penalty, I decided to push on a bit. And then Ink, I think, lost his tires last couple of laps. So like it was really easy to get past him, something which I didn't expect. I just waited for the main DRS straight. And after that, I just brought it home.
Fair enough. I don't have anything to ask from my side. Deepak, do you have anything from your side?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything. Yeah, that was a good comeback actually.
Thank you so much, guys.
Definitely.
Congrats,
So,
Abhi. Congrats, and
yeah, congrats you too, sort of on that podium finish. And Deepak, why don't you take us with P2, Abhi?
Yep. So Abhi, could you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right. So yeah, that was quite an eventful race. I think even sprint also though it was quite an eventful race from you. But yeah, the main race definitely was keeping us on the edge of the seats for quite a lot of laps. So why don't you just talk us through the race? How did it go for you?
Yeah, well, it was a great race for me. Started last and ending up with the P2 was extremely satisfying. So, yeah, in the start, I chose to start on the soft tires because I thought I could let me just try to get as many moves as I can done. And that kind of worked out. I think in lap one, I was already P10 or P9, and I kept on making moves, and I got close to the top 4 or 5. There were a couple of people who spun around, I think in lap 2 or 3, so that kind of came to went in my favor. So yeah, after that I just tried to stay close to the top 3. The safety car came out, pitted along with them, and then in the end the battle with Ink was absolutely amazing. It was really clean. It was really fun. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to having more battles like that during the course of the season. So yeah, overall it was a really satisfying race for me, and I'm extremely glad.
Yep, it was really great watching for us as well because seeing cars fight with each other for such a long period of time without any crashes is something that we all want to see. That was really clean racing from you guys. So yeah, fantastic job.
Thank you.
Definitely. And I have a question for you as well, Abhi, if you don't mind. At one point, I believe it was the second safety car, you were right behind Ink, and Envy was fairly behind you guys. He wasn't really close to you, and your only real competition at that point was Ink, since the two drivers ahead of the both of you were on very old tires. So perhaps did you think that, if you could perhaps get a jump on Ink from, then from at that point, you could have probably led the race and, won it from that point onwards? Or did you definitely think that Envy and Ink are going to give you a proper fight and Envy's just going to close up a lot and overtake you for the win?
Well, to be very honest, I know I've driven or raced against Envy before, so I always knew that he's going to be a threat. I haven't raced much with Ink before, so I was looking forward to that. And but yeah, I tried to get the best restart possible. The people who had the old medium tires, I think one of them pitted and the other spun out. So I think at the safety car restart, I got Ink, and I was leading the race, but then Envy caught up to Ink, and then Envy caught up to me, and he overtook me, and then he, had a massive lead. So I knew, I knew at the back of my mind that Envy will come for me, and he did. He did a fantastic job at getting me and pulling away. So yeah, I think I was focusing on my battle with Ink today, and to be very honest, I'm really happy with the battle I had with him. It was really nice.
Yeah, definitely. And we did see, a fair few position changes between the both of you, a few side by sides. Very good racing from the both of you. Congratulations for P2.
Thank you so much.
Moving on to our race winner, AVNV here.
Hello.
Deepak, why don't you take us through?
Yeah. Hello, Andy.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
Tough
that was a really good performance from you there. I don't think it was a very straightforward race for you, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. A lot of carnage and some of my own mistakes, but yeah, at the end, got it here.
I think we did caught a few of those. I think there was one spin before
Yeah.
turn 6. I think I don't know what
Yeah,
turn
one
turn
athlete-
8. I think, wasn't it?
I don't know the turns of the track, but yeah, I do recall spinning and then hitting the paddles. Luckily, no DNF, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, after seeing the spin, I was almost thinking, oh shit, that's another race ended. But thankfully, I think you just kept away from the wall and you were able to fight back. That was pretty good to see.
Mhm.
So yeah, just talk us through the battle that's going on. I think even in the sprint race as well, it was a very tight pack, and you just had to work your way through. So just talk us through that. How was it going out for you?
Going from the sprint, starting last but third position, got an electric start and then got taken out immediately. I mean, I kind of thought so it would happen, but yeah. But then there were lots of incidents that happened and really good wheel-to-wheel racing as well. I don't know whether you caught everything, but really, really good wheel-to-wheel racing. I can't sum up this whole race in few sentences. It was really good and really bad. Like it's like a proper 50-50 race, kind of thing.
Yep, definitely
Definitely,
was a
and
very good race.
yeah, so Envy, I have a question for you as well. So after you had that collision there, and you got spun around in the final, I believe 10 or so laps, how much ever it was of the race, did you perhaps think that, okay, well, maybe the win is out of my hands now, and perhaps I could try for a
Well,
podium, or were you confident that, yes, I could win, I definitely have the pace in me?
no, I'm not gonna lie. The safety cars kind of helped me as well. After that spin, I think there was a safety car after my spin. Couple of safety cars. I don't recall. But yeah, I think the safety cars played on my favor as well. And I think some people spinning around as well as a player said kind of helped me as well. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I guess that's it from me, Deepak, if you have
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a long day. I think even for the drivers as well, there was an
Yeah.
unexpected lobby restart, which definitely stretched out things. So,
Yep.
yep. Thank you to the viewers to hanging on with us. I know it's been a long stream, but I definitely do think it was worth it. We had some really good races today, and it's just the start of the weekend. We've still got a lot more coming. We've got ACC tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. and we are having a double points race tomorrow at Silverstone. So it's gonna be all or nothing kind of an approach in ACC. And moving on from there, we got F1 22, both the tiers racing on Sunday afternoon and night 8:30. So do tune into us, tune into the channel, do subscribe, get the notifications, and join us on a Discord to join in on the fun. And it's me, Deepak, signing off, wishing you a good weekend. And Simply, who's
Bye.
also with me.
Bye bye.